So yeah, try and actually have the microphone for a bit now, because I was kind of quiet last stream, and it's definitely not the same if I don't talk, so... Yeah, if my throat hurts, I might just have to power through it. Strong Kyonko, yeah. Or something, I don't know. And just gonna watch some stupid videos like I have been, because... I don't know, just not feeling game motivated lately or something. Maybe it's because I haven't worked in a while. I'm still out of work. I'm still trying to get back to work full-time, part-time, anything. So it's like all I've had to do is play games lately. That's like the only thing I have constructive. So yeah, maybe that's why playing games hasn't been as fun lately. I don't know.
If you wanted to do online shopping, your choices were far more limited than the likes of today. Even Amazon.com was still essentially just a bookshop. So when it came to paying for things online, you were equally as limited. Most outlets, if they had a website, required you to phone up and make your credit card payment over the phone rather than actually paying online. But online browsing and payment was becoming increasingly popular, if still restricted somewhat. You couldn't just rock up with your bank's debit card, and things were even worse if you were trying to buy from abroad, with currency conversion and the like. This was a tentative internet, an internet which the world was trying desperately hard to catch up with.
Let's start with the basics first. There are 3 important services you can access on the internet. Surfing the World Wide Web.
Surfing? That sounds pretty cool already.
But also a world where various entrepreneurs were jumping onto the .com boom and surfing it. One of those was named Charles Cohen, a London-based managing director of a web marketing agency, the type of business that was flourishing at the time. This led Charles to not only have some money to invest, but also some ideas of where else the web could take us. One of Charles's bugbears was loyalty programs, and in particular their lack of proliferation. Sure, you could rack up points on your Safeway ABC card or Boots Advantage card, but you could only spend the points in that particular outlet, meaning a lot of spending or a lot of time to reap any kind of reward. So how about a scheme that was non-proprietary, interchangeable between businesses, and really more like a currency than a store scheme? As he worked on the idea, it became clear that this could not only be a micro-payment system, but an entire web currency and customer management tool based around what he would coin the butterfly model. Here was the principle. The company would sell beans to web merchants for 1 cent each. Merchants would award beans to consumers for activities such as registering on their website, checking out a deal, or making a purchase. These activities were labelled e-work. Once the consumer had racked up enough beans from whichever vendors they chose, then they can spend them on products or services at web merchants in the scheme, who would then retire these beans back to the company for half a cent, completing the cycle and providing an alternative web currency free of conversion rates, the hassles of card payment, or risk of online fraud. What's not to like? This concept was branded as the web's currency, and the goal was to actually challenge the world's major currencies. With this alluring idea in hand, and along
where does
with
that
fellow
sound
Oxford
familiar?
University graduate and
Bitcoin.
co-founder Neil Forrester, who incidentally was also in the 4th season of MTV's The Real World.
My name is Neil, I'm from Oxford, and I'm currently dropping out of a PhD in psychology, and I've had this opportunity to pursue my true love, which is music.
Charles set to work, raising capital from friends, family and other contacts. Initially $1.8 million was raised from these angel investors, enough to get the ball rolling. By December 1998, that ball had gained enough momentum to make beans a reality.
Get your
With
beans,
Charles
son.
initially taking the place of Chief
Get your
Technical
beans.
Officer and Neil as Head of Development, alongside colleagues David King as Head of Sales, Philip Letts as CEO, and John Hogg as Head of Marketing, Beans was in motion. Looking to establish the company as a global business, one of the first literal moves was to relocate the head office from London to New York, whilst opening another in San Francisco in order to establish connections and make deals with vendors face to face. Conducting business over the internet wasn't really an option at this point, and so this initial funding was key to establish a strong footing to launch the Beans currency. Progress in these areas brought further investment from private equity firm Gefenor USA, allowing Beans to officially launch in the US and UK during March 1999. Initially, this is what Beans.com looked like, boldly displaying the headline, "It's like money, but better," and with the claim that you can earn them online anywhere, save them in your personal account, then spend them online anywhere. Anywhere might have been a stretch, but vendors were lining up with the very first merchant to offer beans being 21store.com. Remember this place? I mean, check out that Scion Series 5 with free power adapter for £329.
You'll do something cute or
By
terrorist.
signing up here, I'd have got myself a cool...
Oh, these aren't cute.
100 free beans, and then I could go wherever the links take me. Maybe after a few months I could get some discount on that Scion Series 5, or even a Dreamcast. Now we're talking. At this point, the Beans staff numbered less than 100, and were consumed mainly in making deals with other online merchants to trade in beans, which from a merchant's point of view was actually a pretty compelling prospect. In these days, it was costing some businesses $20 per customer acquisition. That is to get a customer onto their website, to sign up, and to set the scene for a potential purchase, or at the very least obtain vital demographic and email data from the registee for future marketing purposes. The Beans model could do the same for less than $5, depending on how many beans the retailer offered the consumer as an incentive. With this, many retailers were quick to actually abandon their own points or discount schemes and jump on the rapidly growing and cost-effective Beans wagon, seemingly proving Charles's non-proprietary theory correct. Of course, to get merchant interest, Beans had to also get consumer interest.
These two swords were used a generation apart by English soldiers in colonial Massachusetts. The one on the right was carried by Miles Standish, the military leader of the Plymouth Pilgrims in the 1620s. The one on the left belonged to Benjamin Church, the captain of a militia company made up largely of praying Indians during King Philip's War. Both Standish and Church fought in the military of the same colony, against similar enemies. But their weapons, and the way they fought, were drastically different. What changed? And what story can these two swords tell about the men who wielded them?
Miles Standish is famous for his role in helping to found Plymouth Colony, but the details of his life before the voyage of the Mayflower are incredibly sketchy. He was either from Lancashire or the Isle of Man. We're not really sure which. But he was probably of noble descent. In 1669, the Puritan historian Nathaniel Morton wrote that Standish was heir apparent to a great estate of land and livings, which were surreptitiously detained from him. And this injustice, whether real or imagined, set the course of Standish's entire adult life. Without opportunities in England, Standish traveled to Holland to fight the Spanish. By 1620, he was living in the city of Leyden. Also in Leyden at that time was a Puritan congregation that would be later known as the Plymouth Pilgrims, who were currently searching for nautical and military experts to assist in a planned journey to Virginia. Initially, they wanted Captain John Smith to be their military advisor, but then decided against it, even though Smith had expressed interest. He was too domineering and way too expensive, and he had nothing but contempt for the Puritans, deriding the Pilgrims as humorists, which doesn't mean that they were particularly funny, it's just an old-timey word for a religious fanatic. Standish, on the other hand, was cheap, local, and tractable, but he also had a bit of an attitude problem. You see, Miles Standish suffered from an acute case
out-cuted in my
short
own
man
stream.
syndrome.
Why did
I'm
I
half
type
joking,
that instead of saying
It's been
something?
pretty
I don't
definitively
know.
proven by this point that the Napoleon complex is a myth. But that doesn't mean that some people aren't
I think it's probably hard
somewhat
to hear me
sensitive
over
about
the
their
video,
height.
isn't it?
And Standish was very,
down a little more.
very short.
I know what the
Something
mixing
that
is
his
like
enemies
now.
and
Is this better?
detractors never let him forget.
Looks like it.
A colonial gun runner who was banished from New England by the Puritans called Standish Captain Shrimp in his writings, which sounds like something that would appear in a presidential tweet. The Puritan historian William Hubbard, writing in 1677, described Standish by saying, "A little chimney is soon fired." So was the Plymouth captain, a man of very little stature, but of very hot and angry temper. But without a doubt, the greatest diss to Standish's height was uttered in March of 1623,
Heck yeah, Pride Party.
when he led an expedition to relieve the struggling settlers of an English trading post just south
Happy
of their Boston
Juneteenth, by the
Tensions
way,
had been
all my
rising
American
between the
viewers.
settlers and their Massachusetts neighbors, and rumors had been swirling around that two elite Massachusetts warriors named Pecksuot and Witchewamot were planning to wipe the trading post off the map. When Standish and his men arrived at the trading post, Pecksuot and Witchewamot approached him. "You are a great captain," Pecksuot said, "yet you are but a little man. I be no sachem, yet I am of great strength and courage." Strangely enough, Standish bore these insults with enormous patience, and when the two had finished taunting him, they returned to the Massachusetts camp without incident. The next day, Standish invited Pecksuot and Witchewamot into the settlement for lunch. They accepted the invitation, but brought a large entourage. Everybody filtered into a house, sat down, and began to dig in, when all of a sudden, the doors slammed shut behind them. Standish, leaping forward, grabbed the knife that hung around Pecksuot's neck and shanked him to death with it.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, 3 pilgrims set upon Witchewamot and brutally murdered him.
Aw, poor guy.
Breathed their last. Standish's friend Hobbamock, a Pokanoket Wampanoag, said of Pecksuot, "Yesterday he said, 'You were but a little man. But today I see you are big enough to have laid him on the ground.'" There are elements of that story that beggar belief. Hobbamock's line sounds like words that a screenwriter would put in the mouth of Bruce Willis, and Puritan historians did have a distinct flair for the
No.
One thing is undeniable.
Europeans changed
Standish
history
had a
to suit
personal vendetta
themselves?
against these two
What?
men. And he not only killed them,
No offense,
he killed all the
men.
Massachusetts
You know,
in the
it's
area.
just,
Not
it's
necessarily
history.
because they were
History's
a tangible
messy.
threat. Remember, the rumors of attack were just that, rumors. But because these two guys...
That's kind of why I
had
like it, because you can't just
really
come out
pissed
and
him
say,
off.
oh, well,
I
this
don't know,
happened
that's
and
just
that's
my
that. It's always like,
speculation. But as a final fuck you, Standish
there's
did
some
wrap
good odds to that
Witchewamot's
event.
men
Elino
to bring back to
This
Plymouth
guy is
to stick
smart,
on a pike.
real
You'd
smart,
think that such a
but
blunt
no one
instrument
can
of a man
outsmart an Uwu
would
bullet.
wield a weapon that was
I outsmarted it,
Elino
Uwu
Lal.
Bullet.
blunt instrument.
Gay
But
ammo.
curiously, Standish
I outsmarted
carried
it. It was
an elegant
easy.
German rapier, though he did have
German
to shave
rapier.
about 6 inches off the tip, lest it drag along the ground as he walked. The sword generally attributed to Standish is today being kept at the Pilgrim Hall Museum in Plymouth, and it's way bougier than this pretty sort of simple dinky one that I'm holding for reference.
No kidding.
It was extremely ornate, fine continental
Viceris.
craftsmanship, an
Elino
elegant
Lal
weapon,
Mope Geo.
more suited for dueling than for the battlefield, and certainly very impractical.
Yeah,
for
Leno
fighting
Lal
Native
do be
Americans in
thirsty.
the swamps of New England. So why did he carry it? Well, Miles Standish was of noble birth.
Thank you guys so much for being here in my stream. It gets really boring by myself, and seeing you guys
and someone
comment
who
means a lot.
desperately wanted to command respect. This sword is a tool, but it's also a status symbol.
I don't know what
Tells
I'm
us
doing
much
a lot of the
less about
times,
sort of man
and
that Standish was, and much more about
I
the
guess
sort of man
I'm too harsh
that
on myself,
Standish
because it's not
wanted
just
to
me.
be.
Like, even people that are doing really well still have a hard time sometimes feeling like
50 years later,
their streams are
Massachusetts is
entertaining
a
or they're
very
doing
different
stuff,
place.
so
Through sale,
I
coercion,
shouldn't
and
worry if I
conquest,
feel a little burnt
colonists
out.
acquired
Just go
huge
with it
tracts of
and
land across New England,
try not to
and now
stress too
greatly
much.
outnumbered their
That's the
men.
thing, there's like no
In
performance review for
1675,
this,
ethnic
and so
tensions
you're your
exploded
own
into
worst
armed
critic.
conflict, the bloodbath known as King Philip's War. Until very recently, when historians started to bother to tell the story of this war from the native perspective, one man was unquestionably regarded as the hero of King Philip's War, its most capable commander, its most dashing soldier. His name was Captain Benjamin Church. As an old man, Church wrote a memoir of his wartime experiences, which remains an invaluable source of information for the events that he describes. However, he may have been a bit of an unreliable narrator, as we'll later see. Church was born in Plymouth Colony and lived his whole life in the New World. In 1675, he started to build a farm on land that was owned by the Saconet Wampanoags. He chose the spot because no English people had settled there yet, and he was very careful not to offend his Saconet neighbors. But in June of that year, Church's homesteading project...
A lot of people don't even realize there wasn't actually a history-educated university graduate in America until like the 1870s, I think.
Governor Josiah
So up
Winslow
until
of
that point,
Plymouth
every part of
called upon
American
Church to
history
raise a
was
company
made
of
by
militiamen.
journals
That
and
company
guys
would
basically
later
writing
go
down
on
what
to
they
partake
saw
in many of the
and
major
having
actions
no
of that
critique
conflict. In the
or
campaigns of 1675 and early
ability to really
1676,
dispute what
which
they
were
wrote
mostly
down. It was
unmitigated
just simply
disasters for
accepted
the
like, oh,
English,
well,
Church
no one would
Congress
lie in a book.
repeatedly urged colonial officials to adopt a new style of warfare, more suited to the thick woods and boggy swamps of southeastern New England. The
Guerrilla
Church never missed an
warfare.
opportunity to emphasize how brilliant he was, not to mention brave, hardy, and handsome. There
Elino
probably
Lau.
is some truth to this.
A lot of
Many the
people
English
don't even
soldiers who marched
realize there
against
was
Metacomet
actually
in
a flat
retaliation
Earth,
for the attack
but
on
we
Swansea
Kyonko
would have been
superters
equipped
know
in
the
much
Earth
the
is
same way
flat.
that Miles
My
Standish
chest
did.
is
Kyonko's
not
chest.
flat. It's growing, okay?
Heavy armor. Many of them also carried
Jeez.
pikes and obsolete matchlock muskets, while natives had long since recognized the
You know,
superiority of
that's
the
like one of the
cutting-edge
rudest
flintlock
things you can
musket,
do is
which was
say my
ideal
chest
for
is
guerrilla
flat.
warfare. After the crushing English defeat at
I
the
hate
Sudbury
you,
Fight in
Lenolau.
April
I hate you.
1676, Church traveled to Plymouth to again plead with colonial leaders in a meeting of the Council of War. He argued that they should give him command of an army that was no less than 300 men strong, and that it should be
Friendship
made up
ended with
largely of
Lenolau.
allied
Viserys
natives.
is my new best
Furthermore,
friend.
he said they shouldn't just hole up in a garrison or a fort and wait for Metacomet to come to them. Instead, they should hide out in the woods, like their enemy did.
In
the
a
council
woods.
refused this proposal. A big army of 300 men, that's expensive.
Elino
And
Lau.
Church's plan to
Love
rely
you
on
too.
native allies
Plank of wood.
made them very nervous. But in the end, Church got his way. Over the following weeks, Metacomet's forces devastated
Oh my God,
the
die,
English settlements of
Lenolau.
southeastern Massachusetts.
Die,
So
die,
Church
and
traveled
stay
again to
dead.
Plymouth to see how he could make himself useful. This time, the council approved his proposal, with some slight modifications, giving him command of a large number of men, 2/3 English and 1/3 native. To hear Church tell it, he
Viserys.
and he alone was solely
Demon Sip.
responsible for implementing the tactics that turned the tide of the war. I doubt this very much, but even I have to admit that his strategies were incredibly effective. As Church and his men relentlessly pursued Metacomet across Massachusetts, his company quickly adapted to the realities
Also,
of
oh my
guerrilla
gosh,
warfare,
Fi, you have the
in
best
large part because
emotes.
Church actually listened to the advice that
Viserys.
his native allies were giving him.
Flat is
Church
just a
writes that
smoke
on one
out.
occasion, he asked some
So are
native
those
men serving
emotes you
under
can only
him
use on
how they
your
were able to get the advantage over
thing,
the
or
English from
can
fighting in the
if
woods.
I make you a mod
The
here,
natives
can you
replied
add
that it
those
was quite
emotes
simple.
yet?
They marched spread out.
Because I don't
through the
know how to do
wilderness,
emote
and
stuff,
when
and
they
I don't have a
encountered
good
English troops,
like.
they scattered. So they always appeared to
I don't
be
have good
more
ones.
numerous than they were. They
But
wore
I don't
moccasins
wanna,
like-
and didn't bother with heavy
That's why
equipment.
we support Kyo.
Instead, they
We
relied
know we
on
can
I'm
only
not
trust
flat,
flatness.
moving
okay?
quickly and quietly through the woods in order to confuse their enemy.
I'm
Whereas
like
the English
probably an A
always
cup,
marched in a
okay?
clump
That's not
and
flat.
never separated
That's
or
a
strategically
cup
retreated.
size, okay?
Therefore, when a native force encountered an English
Elino
one in the
Lau.
woods, they always
I
knew
think
how many
we
of
need
them they were
affiliate
facing.
first to
Fighting
make
like that, it
emotes.
seems pretty apparent that a
Do you want
reindeer
big booby
is
model
useless as a
Kyonko? Because this
fighter.
is how you get big booby
Improvements in
model
firearm
Kyonko.
technology essentially guaranteed that any clashes between Church and Metacomet
And I won't hold back.
would be
I'll
fought
make them like
primarily
giant
at close
balloon
range.
tits, man.
Melee
I'll make
weapons
them
were an
block out my
afterthought,
face.
And when they were used, it was probably more in accordance with the native style of
Don't
hand-to-hand
test me.
combat.
Don't
Basically,
challenge this
hit and
flat
run.
chest.
And this is perfect for that. It's a cutlass, a naval weapon used for close combat on ships. Very, very simple. Basically an iron bar.
Elino Lau.
And this one that I've got right here is
PogChamp,
actually
PogChamp.
way more fancy and ornate than the super stark and simple one.
Oh,
that
we need
Church
affiliate
made.
first
You
to
don't
make
need to know any
emotes?
fancy
Oh,
footwork
okay.
to
I
be
wasn't
able to
sure how
use this
soon you
sword.
can make them.
It's a hunk of
So,
metal. You hit people
Viserys.
with it, they die.
The
But
pride
there's
emotes
another
are
aspect
unlocks
to
from a
Church's
previous
personality
charity
that we
thing
should
Twitch
probably
did, and the
discuss.
other emotes are
So far, I may
sub-emotes
have given
from
you the
other
impression
channels.
that he was a 17th
Oh,
century
okay.
Han Solo, a swashbuckling blowhard, a lovable asshole. But given Church's actions toward the end of the war, I think we can safely remove the word lovable from that moniker. Don't take Church's employment of native soldiers as evidence that he was some kind of enlightened colonizer. In the summer of 1676,
Elino Lau.
he forced Wampanoag
I think
captives
you
to
can
go
already
seek out
become an
Wampanoags that were
affiliate.
still resisting the English, using their families as leverage.
ooh.
The captives would pretend to be informing Metacomet's men about the whereabouts of English soldiers,
I'm.
only to go right back to Church.
What is it?
and tell
I
him
need to get
the
more
location
viewers, I
of
think,
these
for
populations.
affiliate.
Viserys.
Let me check here.
You can also see a bigger version of the emotes when you click on them in the Twitch chat.
Ooh. So let me see real quick. Oh, Mousie's live. Nice.
It's a lot harder to green nose, you can tell you that much.
Silence. Let me see here. I think. Where is it? What's the one that lets me... Oh, here we go. So I'm almost affiliate. I don't know, can you guys see that? No, okay. Well, so I have everything else met. So I have 92 followers when I only need 50. I've streamed for 8 hours. Or how does it work now? So I've streamed for 81.2 out of 8 hours. I've streamed on 22 out of 7 different days. But my I only have an average of 1.75 out of 3 viewers out of the 81.2 hours streamed. So that's the thing.
That's me.
Yeah, pretty much. The average one is Lenolal. Lenolal and Phi probably. You two are here pretty regularly and keeping me alive. But yeah, it's funny that I have that many followers, but I can't get that many people watching, so yeah.
Of resistance. In his memoirs, Church proudly tells the story about how
I guess it's just a time thing. Like, people are probably still trying to watch my streams, catch them, and get a feel for like what my sort of personality is, so people might tune in more as they see more videos. I don't know.
And the boy was merely sold into slavery. Church portrays the last days of King Philip's War as a climactic game of cat and mouse.
Bottom line is, if I have more people following, there's a better chance people will be on and watching, but...
Now, it's pretty much impossible to know what was going through Metacomet's
That's what
mind
I
at the
think
time.
kind of gets to me,
But
is
we do
it's
know
like,
that his
I'm so
army had been
close, but I
crippled
can't get
by this
more
war.
people watching
Many
on the
of his most
regular.
capable allies and captains had been slain.
So it's
He
like,
must have been wrapped in
Elino
grief
Lau.
over
I'm being
the loss of
held
his
back.
family.
Maybe you should make
There
clips
was
in
almost
YT
no
to
point
attract viewers,
in killing
like a
Metacomet by
trailer.
the summer of 1676.
Elino Lau.
The war had
Or
long since
highlights.
spiraled out of his
Yeah,
control.
like,
No,
everything I
think killing
stream here
Metacomet
streams to
was about
YouTube as well,
vengeance.
so people see it on
Certainly for the English
YouTube.
colonists and their native allies. For Church personally, I think
Yeah, I guess I'll have to go back and
glory.
make highlights.
Finally, on August 12th,
I just don't
Benjamin Church stood
wanna...
over the mud-splattered body of Metacomet. He had been shot to death by one of Church's native scouts. In accordance with the English punishment for treason, Church ordered that Metacomet be posthumously drawn and quartered. His head was brought to Plymouth, and much like
Elino
Lau
Lau.
50 years before,
Yeah,
it was
but it's
stuck on a
like the
pole,
entire
where
hour.
it remained on
You should
display
make videos
for
that are
decades.
below than 10
but
minutes.
Metacomet's death isn't the climax of Church's account, not really. He then describes in gory detail how he tracked down and took prisoner Anawan, a venerable captain of the Wampanoag, who had served under Massasoit, Metacomet's father, back in the Pilgrim's Day. The night of
These
the
accounts are
capture,
great, though.
after
They
everyone
really
but the two captains had fallen asleep,
show how
Anawan
thin
presented
that
Church
perception of,
with
like,
Metacomet's own
oh, we're
Wampanoag
civilized, we're fighting
royal
against the
regalia.
savages,
This gesture
kind of
meant a lot to
was.
Church, and in his mind, signified his singular importance in saving New England from the native threat. Just take the words he puts into Anawan's mouth. The war is ended by your means, and therefore these things belong unto you. But this chivalric scene exists in stark contrast to the broader historical reality. In the summer of 1676, hunting down natives in the woods of Massachusetts had become something of a psychopathic sport.
Viceris.
Yep.
Authorities and
So
slave
you are
traders
AA
paid
cup?
good money for captives.
I'm jealous cause
and
I only have
these
AA
English
cup
headhunters
selfie
faced
sad.
very little personal danger from their desperate and starving quarry. Or look what happened that September, when the General Court of Massachusetts Bay formed a committee to decide what they should do with Native American captives who hadn't been directly implicated in violence.
I haven't been
against
bra
the English.
shopping in a long time, though. I miss bra
Ultimately decided to
shopping.
sell the lot of them into
Yo has a
Caribbean
big chest
slavery.
then?
Now, to Church's mind, and
I guess I
to the
can't
mind
win
of
either
many,
way.
though not
If I
all,
say I have a big
colonists
chest,
of
it's
that
like
era,
LOL
this
sumo
horrifying
tits.
behavior
Elino
If I
was
say I'm
perfectly
flat, then it's
acceptable.
like
Stop
But
shaking
even
your
so,
melons around.
it is hard to
He's annoying the
reconcile
kids.
Church's
Badunk,
murderous
dunk,
actions
dunk.
with the personal image that he so carefully cultivated for himself. The dashing frontiersman, friend to the Indians, but also an opportunistic, cruel, self-aggrandizing prick who built a career off of murdering Indians. But unlike
Yep.
Standish, I think Church knew exactly what kind of man he was. A cutlass. A weapon with a bright shine, but still a dirty fighter. It may take some skill to use, but at the end of the day, the idea is to bash your opponent in the fucking face as hard as you can. A nasty piece of work. Both the sword and the man.
What the horrible little man. Hmm.
You were saying?
Rock and roll!
Elino Wow. Sing Prince Ali.
It is time for you to choose your bride. Alrighty. Let's take a look-see. Hate your hair. Hate your hair.
Hate your hair.
And let me guess, you have a great cunt. Is this really? Oh no! I mean, what is he babbling about? He wouldn't shut up. Anyway, there's Pacha.
Excuse me.
Is this your homework, Larry?
Inside, up the stairs. Thanks a lot. Oh.
Pardon me. That's mine.
Oh, here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, hey, are you all right? Here, let me,
You're very kind. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, gang, check out this piece of sheet.
This piece of sheet.
Yeah, I got that there, Yzma.
That's Kronk.
Hi there. Oh, Your Highness. I was only dealing with mean.
So, not gonna lie, Yzma is probably the hottest Disney girl.
How long has that been there?
What do you say, Cusco?
Whoa, no.
I don't know, what can I say? I go for the older ladies.
Fired? What do you mean fired?
How else can I say it? You're being let go, your department's being downsized. Hey,
Probably a big part of it is, the voice actress, what's her name? Eartha Kitt?
Here, get this snack.
Got it.
Smash Bros.
Elino Lau.
Is this your
LUL.
homework, Larry?
There he is, my main gay man.
My main gay
Is this
man.
your homework?
You can fix my problem, can't you?
Look, Larry, have you ever heard of Vietnam?
Good.
They're getting into Big Lebowski, I love it.
Props that you use here at the palace. We also heard the llamas that you.
Who does that ungrateful little think he is? Does he? A little to the left. Pull the lever, Kronk.
Fuck you. You're a fucking.
Get out of my way. How should I do it? Oh, I know. I'll fuck myself. Brilliant, I tell you. Genius, I say.
Oh, this editing.
Or I'll just poison him with this. Take it.
Oh my god, this was, what was this? This came out June 5th? People are still making YouTube poops. I thought YouTube poops died. Awesome.
So, is everything ready for tonight?
Right. The poison. The poison. The poison. The poison. The poison.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I thought we'd start off
That's
with salad.
great.
Not the dinner.
It's a real shame.
You know.
Oh right.
So this is Umbra Lupin. Go subscribe to him.
That poison.
He's
Right.
awesome.
A few drops in his drink, then I'll propose a toast, and he will be dead before dessert.
Which is a real shame because it's gonna be salad.
Boom, bam, baby. Let's get to the grub. No hard feelings about being let go.
None whatsoever. Kronk, get the Emperor a poison drink.
The poison. Right. Oh, they're so easy to make.
Kronk is low-key making Skyrim potions.
Your Highness.
It's something.
Poison. The drinks were a bit on the. Fuck off.
So.
Kronk, the Emperor needs his poison.
Right. Oh, salad. Right. The drinks were a bit. I know a lot about sex.
Yes, Kronk.
Ah, tasty.
Donk.
Finally.
Okay, what were we saying?
We were just. He's dead!
Yeah.
Now, to get rid of the body. Good work, Kronk.
Boom, bam, baby. and it might be difficult. Now about you finding work.
More salad.
Let's face it, you're no spring chicken. And I mean that in the best possible way.
What? He's supposed to be a llama?
Yeah, weird.
Let me see that vial. This isn't poison. This is coffee.
Coffee.
Fancier poisons all look like coffee.
Take him out of town and finish the job now!
What about salad?
Kronk.
How about dessert?
Well, I suppose dessert is kind of important.
It's salad.
All right. Then take him out of town and finish the job!
Mission accomplished.
Happy on birthday to me. Happy on birthday to
Elino Lau. Yo, why you drunk?
on birthday.
Why am I drunk? I wish I was drunk.
Don't listen to that guy. He's trying to lead you down the path of righteousness.
No, I didn't buy any alcohol this week.
Rocks. Oh, come off it. Look what I can do.
But what does that have to do with anything?
No. He's got a point.
Well, Seymour, I made it.
Can we get back to me?
Whoa. Where'd you come from, little guy?
Hate your hair.
Demon llama!
Demon llama? Where?
How did, you don't, do this.
And you turned me into a llama!
What? No, I did not.
Yes, and then you me.
Why would I a llama?
You're right. No time to waste. Let's go.
They peed on your fucking rug.
You want to run that by me again?
We're talking about unchecked aggression here.
I got a little secret for you. Come here. No, closer.
The Chinaman is not the issue here. Takes care of my problem.
Our beloved prince. Taken from us so tragically on the eve of his 18th birthday. His legacy will live on in our hearts for all eternity.
No touching.
Son, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass.
Oh, boo. Now I feel really bad. Bad llama.
It's the whole world.
Well, that makes you ugly.
Am I the only one around here who gets shit about the rules?
Oh my god, crossing this over with
We're gonna have to work together.
the
to get out of
Lebowski was
this,
the best
so follow
idea
my lead.
ever.
Ow!
Ready?
Okay, got it. Ow! You did that on purpose. Ah!
You're just gonna have to trust me.
Ow!
What'll it be?
Lady, I got buddies who died face down in the muck so that you and I can enjoy this family restaurant.
Goku Black.
Oh, please, dear, for your information.
Hey Goku Black, what's up, my dude? Reno Lino?
Ordering, I need 2 heartburns and a deep fried.
Okay, so I'll admit this was a good idea.
Hot and crispy cup for the happy couple.
Oh boy. Where you going?
I'm just gonna slip into the shop.
Elino Lau. The Restream bot is not sending the message to which?
The Restream bot is not sending a message to Twitch. Oh yeah, I had to turn it off because that was what was duplicating stuff. You know how we were getting that duplicated message thing?
Yo, it's Austin, and before we get started today, I want to talk to y'all about today's sponsor, ExpressVPN, server in the
licensed anime video games. There sure are a lot of
My
them.
stream is
While these
basically
are
an
a dime a
ad
dozen,
blocker
in
for
the Western
YouTube.
market, you won't see nearly as many. It makes sense for us to get multiple video games based on Superman, one of, if not the most recognized American fictional character of all time. But what about the Serial Experiments Lane PlayStation 1 game? Why didn't we get this? You know what. But even for all of the licensed anime games that did make it stateside, there are so many that have virtually gone under the radar, some of which I rarely see anyone talk about. It takes being a Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 and 3 to get yourself ported onto another console to remain even slightly relevant, so a lot of these are just gathering dust. And today, we're gonna brush a few of them off. We're gonna be sticking to titles that were released in the States, so sorry to anyone who was hoping I would talk about that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game. But hey, one day.
So yo, it's Austin, and I'm finally set in my new place. You could.
So yeah, the messages aren't sending to Twitch, so we'll just have to deal with them showing up in the chat on my stream for now.
How Ranma 1/2 got 14 different video games over 5
So like
years
people
is
on other
beyond
things
me,
will
but
still
how
see your
America
messages.
got any of them is even weirder.
just won't
Miko
relay it.
Takahashi is one of those manga artists who's had not just one, not two, but 5 completely different series reach millions of sales over 6 decades. One of those we'll talk about in a sec, but for now, Ranma. Ranma 1/2 was one of the first anime series Viz decided to license in the
Man,
States.
Ranma 1/2
So
is
in
the best.
1993,
I think it might be
a
my
year after the
all-time
series
favorite
finished in
manga,
Japan,
in all
VHS tapes
honesty.
began to flood sun coasts. Western audiences began to be like, why is Ranma so hot both ways? And simultaneously, Ranma 1/2 Hard Battle was released on the Super Nintendo. This wasn't actually the first game.
No,
obviously,
was that the
Ranma
cover? Was that the cover? No
Elena,
way.
Ranma had strange incest.
Hey man, it's Japan. Don't judge them. Oh my god! That was the cover! What? What? Look at that! Look at that! Just... I can't even. Wow! Just look at that artwork. That panda's pissed. Wow, I genuinely can't believe that was real. I had to take a second and confirm it because it just did not seem likely.
Hard Battle was released on the Super Nintendo. This wasn't actually the first game that made its way over here from the Ranma series, though. There was another called Shōnai Gekitoen that went through a full-on old-school American conversion and became Street Combat. Let's get it on.
Everybody wants Kung Fu fighting!
Word hard sure is apt. I don't consider myself a pro by any means when it comes to fighting games, but I did 3-0 Wooly and Ultimax, so that's gotta mean something. My Naruto? Undefeated. This was made pretty early on in the console fighting game craze, but not early enough to know that a jump button was a bad idea, and a block button. You've also got really complicated combo attacks like press forward and special attack, or like down and special attack. It's very deep. It's not a very good fighting game, but Hard Battle coming out at all feels like a miracle, and it was one of those games that ancient otaku were excited to see. Fans of the series were pleased, but nowadays, why you would play this over any fighting game is beyond me. Not when Sailor Moon S exists. Okay, so Toonami, right? In the States, Toonami was the quintessential distributor of Japanese animation on television. Other channels might have done it, but none more frequently and efficiently than Toonami. A lot of people might recall the station simply for how much Dragon Ball Z it aired, but I'll always remember seeing things like Outlaw Star, IGPX, or most relevant to this video, Zoids. Zoids were one of those multimedia franchises that existed seemingly with one and only one mission, making money. These are another one of those Takara Tomy.
I'm trying to figure out how I can do a stream of playing guitar.
For those unfamiliar with my previous
I don't have a really good setup
video,
for
except unlike
I don't think
this one
microphoning my amp
actually has made money over nearly
I
40
need a different
years
microphone
too. You might
for that
call
to
Zoids
work.
a success. Your parents might have actually had one of those 1980s.
Also, I
Zoids
want to
back
figure
in
out
the
how I
day,
can
but
show
was
myself playing the
introduced to them
guitar,
with a little
but
anime airing on Toonami called Zoids New Century.
I don't want
also
to
known
like
as
a nice
Tournament Arc, the
cosplay to
anime.
wear.
This was a
if
show
I
about a
do
little
that.
team of Zoid pilots and a scavenger
It's
with
like
a heart
my
of
own
gold named
regular
Big
clothing
Cloud,
is
making
kind of
deep
ugly.
connections with the Liger Zero. It was extremely extra, and I loved it so much, and I totally didn't just trace a panel from the manga and tell everyone that I did it. Wow, we could talk about this anime and the prequel that came out afterwards here, Chaotic Century, for an entire video. I need to talk to y'all about some of the games that came out around the same time as them. First up, Zoids
I don't know.
Battle
You
Legends
guys
for the
want to see my
also
like
known as
ugly
Zoids versus
shirts
3 in
and
Japan. It's even got my
stuff,
boy
or would
Bit
you
on the
rather
cover.
see me play guitar in like a
If you
nice
put a
maid
bunch of giant
outfit or
mecha
something?
robot animals into a
Like
big
a
arena with
oh
guns
wait,
and swords
why did I
strapped to
forget? I
their
have a
backs,
My
you're bound to
Hero
have a good
Academia
time, right?
cosplay I could put
Well,
on.
it's okay. You've got a decent
I have
amount
like
of customization. You've got a bunch of
the
characters
girl
from the
uniform,
show, but the
like the school
gameplay is
uniform.
kinda lacking, especially
I
if you're
want to
putting
see
it up
your
against
long
other
woolly hair
similar
and metal
GameCube
shirts.
anime-looking arena fighters with mechs like Gotcha Force. Or custom
My long,
you
oily
basically
hair.
just run around with your Zoid, find other Zoids, and try to be.
Nah,
You have a
I
really
don't like
limited
having
moveset
oily
that
hair. I
consists
take a
of
little
ranged
more
and melee
better care of it
attacks.
than
You can
that.
jet boost around, which, while cool, isn't
Lately,
as
I
cool as
braid
the
my
anime
hair a
makes
lot.
It seem. It doesn't help that the melee
blame
is a solid
Astolfo.
two-hit combo that looks the same every time. You'll unlock parts for your different Zoids in the garage, but it's not a crazy amount. It's kind of underwhelming. But also, as a kid, I thought this game was so good, despite how janky it is nowadays. If there was a Liger Zero in there, I was in. Nowadays, it's like a solid 5 out of 10.
So
I drew you a liger.
What about a Zoids game?
It's
on
a cross
brand
between a
new
lion and a
console? All this
tiger.
GameCube nonsense. I'm talking 16 by 9. We're taking this to the Xbox 360, which is now actually 15 years old. But Zoids Assault.
It is very rare that I'll fall asleep while playing a video game.
Why you
Usually
never
a
play music
mishmash of
then?
colors on a bright TV will keep anyone awake with few exceptions. You gotta be like a boring visual novel, Metal Gear Survive, or Ace. Or in today's case, Zoids Assault.
On that day, snow fell in the dried out lands of Jamil for the first time in 50 years.
This here is Zoids Assault, a strategy RPG published by Atlas and developed by the dudes who made Cooking Mama. No, not the one that'll hack your mom's smart fridge. 3 and 4. Zoids Assault.
Do you
is
mean
a
like
more
playing
realistic
music
and
like
grim, dark take
Spotify,
on
or playing
Zoids, the
music
colorful,
like
very anime
guitar
mecha robot
stuff?
fighting show? Now, normally I'm all for taking the absurd shonen out of the robot and making it heavy hitting. Gundam 08th MS Team is one of the best mecha anime for that exact reason, but like
Elino
maybe
Lau.
Zoids didn't
Your music.
need that. I'm not sure why they thought making everything brown and
I
gray
guess
was
you
the
didn't
correct way to
hear, but
present a
Twitch
grim, dark
changed a
story,
lot
and
of
I
its
guess this
standards
was
about
a
music,
360
so
game in
it's really
2008,
hard to
so
know
it's like the primetime
what
dirty
music.
Doom era. But this would be okay if
Oh,
the
guitar
story was
music.
interesting and told well. If instead we've got pans of a single anime girl talking to a bunch of old dudes,
Hot take,
walls of
I don't think you
text,
can,
same image of the woman talking to the old men again.
Unless it's
just
blatant
extremely
copying,
bland.
you can't
It's a
really
shame
steal
because some of the
music. If
combat
something's
systems are
similar to
pretty
something
neat.
else,
You get a small amount of
that's like
customization
inspiration.
to your Zoids, and there's a cool
Your own
support
music
system
has
where
only
if you're
your own
attacking dudes
copyright,
next to
though.
allies, they'll also engage in the attack, turning what was one shot into 3 or 5. This is, of course, supplemented
Honestly, I
by
wouldn't be
the highest
surprised if
quality
Twitch or YouTube or
animations,
any of
where
those
the
other
screen's
sites,
shaking
you know,
violently, and the model's
past a
not
point,
moving at
it's
all.
like
Zoids Assault was a huge disappointment for me back in the day.
they
When
probably
you
start
combine the
stealing some of
words
your
Zoids,
profits. Like, I wonder how
Atlas,
much Justin
strategy
Bieber makes
RPG,
off of his old
anime
YouTube
girl,
videos
normally I'd be all
versus
over that.
what
But in the
people
case
should
of
be
this
making,
one, we're
maybe.
given a game that was not only
I
forgettable
can almost
at the
bet
time,
that YouTube's
but
giving him a
doubly
rough
so
deal
12
because they're
years
like,
later.
oh, he's rich
All
and
right, let's talk
famous
about
now.
something good. I talked about something from this franchise in my Bad Anime Games Volume 2 video, but now it's a good game. But now it's time to talk about Astro Boy Omega Factor.
Astro Boy from the PlayStation 2 continues to haunt me from the grave. Osamu Tezuka's classic manga and
That Game Boy
anime is a
Advance game
staple
was
of the medium,
great.
but that game
I
was
should
a
play it.
time. What happens when you take
Elino
the
Lau.
development out of Sonic Team's hand and put
post
it in
your stuff
treasures?
on
Yeah,
SoundCloud
Gunstar
then.
Heroes, Mischief
Like it's
Makers,
music.
Guardian Heroes, McDonald's
Copyright is
Treasureland
not hard to
Adventures
get.
Treasure. Well, apparently you get Nintendo Power's 38th best game of all time. Astro Boy Omega Factor is one heck of a video game that's never gotten a port, never gotten a remaster, and hardly gets mentioned. The North American version of this game was not only extremely good, but holds its own today. I say North American because it was actually delayed here to release at the same time as the 2004 anime and PS2 game, and they fixed a couple of the issues. Why they would release so much Astro Boy in one day is beyond me, but at least this one's the good one. Unrelated to the 2003 anime, Omega Factor is just a solid run and gun. While I wouldn't say it ranks up there with the likes of Gunstar Heroes, it does a lot of neat stuff, especially for a licensed game. The controls are simple enough. You've got punches, kicks, finger lasers, machine guns. You can dash in certain directions. Some levels become shmuppy. It's got that classic Sega treasure variety. Every level has hidden characters from the manga and other Tezuka works, and they give you items to buff yourself. Kimba the White Lion, sure.
Elino Lau.
He's here. Why
I
not?
tried to make a
Bosses range
remix
from
of
a
parts
fair
but gave
challenge
up
to
when I
this is
noticed how
definitely a
hard it
treasure
is to
video
make.
game difficulty. If you played any of their other games, you know what to expect. Sometimes you just want an old school, straightforward, good and simple time, and Astro Boy Omega Force will definitely do that. It's absolutely worth your while if you can find a copy of it, but also, hey, Sega, you gotta start porting different things. Don't let something like this disappear with time. You don't have to keep porting Altered Beast. You really don't.
Rise from your grave.
No, not again.
Sometimes in life, you want to be proactive. You want to do stuff with your hands, like hold a pencil and like write a word or something. Other times, you just want to press a button and then fall asleep. And for you, we have the critically praised Beyblade video games.
Beyblade!
When the average Metacritic
Ripping
score
it
for
up,
the entire
moving out
franchise
of
is sitting
sight,
at
it's
43, you know you're doing
head,
something
it's a
right.
way
This
of
is, of
life,
course,
you
without
gotta
the emotionally
down
gripping
and
PlayStation
meet
1
ground
debut,
and get back
Beyblade,
up
Let It Rip.
again. Let's Beyblade!
The concept of Beyblade is one that predates, well, pretty much.
Okay, yeah, actually, you know what? We gotta go listen to that theme song because it's a jam. I don't care, sue me. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, yeah, stupid intro, no one cares. Oh my god, 10 seconds. I remember having a crush on this girl. I think she was like a really early anime waifu. Them cat aspects, man, I tell ya. She reminded me a lot of, what was her name from Outlaw Star? She was like a Kataro or something. Oh wow, I actually got that right. Kataro. Here, enjoy this.
So just because of what happened, they deliberately stranded you here at Blue Heaven?
I have a title as resident officer.
But don't you get some kind of salary?
I just don't get any money from the Empire. Yeah, if I'd used my own money to track you down, I would have been broke in no time.
If we're not careful, guys, she's gonna eat the food right off our plates.
Hey, these are delicious. You want to try them?
Oh, thank you very much.
Elino Lau. Hot.
Man, you can really chow down.
That was supposed to feed 4 people.
May I?
Yeah?
What now?
Yum, I'm ready for seconds.
Suit yourself.
Give me another! Give me another!
In any case, we don't know anything. We don't have any information that would be of use to you.
Happy cat girl alien noises.
You know, these are good. They sure are. I think I'll have some too.
I'm so stuffed I couldn't possibly eat another bite.
Okay, look, I offered to buy you dinner because I felt a little guilty. Now I'd say this makes us even.
Stonk.
Most of the Earth's population. People have been carving these toy spinny tops and making them fight for centuries. These things have been found in archaeological sites. Dinosaurs were probably playing with them. But leave it to once again our boys at Takara Tomy to release a brand new colorful anime-infused version of the spinning top. Call it a Beyblade and rise to the top of early 2000s consumerism. Let it rip, they say, as parents pull out their wallets to purchase illegal Beyblade combinations for their kids to participate in the underground battle rings. I can understand the novelty in like having a physical toy in your hand, doing the pulley spinny thing, screaming "let it rip" and waiting with bated breath. There's appeal in that. Hell, I fell asleep watching the 2012 Beyblade World Championship stream in Toronto. It's practically ASMR. But a video game?
Wow! Feel the shock of the collision!
Yeah, no.
A few years ago, a dear friend of mine decided to send me his copy of Beyblade V-Force Super Tournament Battle, and I really wish he didn't.
I don't really know much about the stories or characters in these shows, but I do know that that is a gun. These are just guns. You shoot battling spinning tops with a special triggerable power out of a gun. This is peak 2000s energy here. Except in the video game, you just hit A at the right time and then press it again to make the top do a special cinematic bit that 9 out of 10 times does nothing of substance. Most of the time, you just gotta watch it spin, maybe move it a tiny bit. This game is weird. All of the menus are nicely made and cool to look at. All of the actions are colorful and flashy. The music ain't half bad. There's a whole Beyblade upgrade and shop system. I'm sure there's something here, but I could be playing literally any other video game. In fact, we could play any of the other Beyblade video games, but let's not. Also, the Beyblade OC you make at the beginning looks straight out of South Park.
And all you Beyblade V-Force defenders out there, all three of you, don't yell at me. We have covered a ton of Dragon Ball Z video games on this channel, and mostly bad ones. In fact, it wouldn't be an anime games video of mine without me at least mentioning the franchise, so let's try it again, but a little different this time. Dragon Ball, hold the Z, Revenge of King Piccolo.
It's pretty amazing that Dragon Ball Z, GT, and Super have been so wildly popular over the last 35 years. It's not often you'll have toys, games, movies, and shows from that many decades, but if anyone could pull that off, it was Goku. With a little assist from Akira Toriyama, I guess. But around the series' 25th anniversary, we would get a little beat 'em up for the Wii that I think went completely under everyone's radar, despite it being a totally serviceable game. Even weirder, it was made by Mediavision, the developers behind one of my favorite JRPG franchises, Wild Arms. And while I would never say that King Piccolo is up there with Wild Arms 3, this little Dragon Ball game wasn't half bad. So rather than starting from the very beginning of the saga like countless other video games do, this one starts right after the first tournament arc with the Red Ribbon Army, which was one of my favorites. And as a beat 'em up, not surprisingly, this works pretty well. Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo was pretty similar to the Game Boy Advanced game I covered a while back, Advanced Adventure. They both go through the Dragon Ball story, they both are beat 'em ups, and they're both totally underrated by today's standards. The main difference here is that when you get to boss fights, Revenge of King Piccolo turns into more of a 3D arena fighting game. However, the combo system isn't the most well made for that. You get a little 1-2-3 punch, which can turn into an AoE attack or an air launcher. Sometimes you can lock onto dudes and kick at them. There's a Kamehameha meter, which fills up over time, allowing you to do big ol' ki blasts, which will kill everything. Thankfully, there's not a button to make Goku check out people's privates. But we do get really lovely looking in-game cutscenes. It's cute. Look how cute it is. Everything is pretty straightforward, but the gameplay does seem like it's going to be diving into Metroidvania from time to time, but in the end, every level is just a point A to point B affair, with little to no deviation in design. The game's pretty short, and there's only a few points where you try something new, like tickling Korin, and to be honest, there are better Dragon Ball games out there, like Advanced Adventure. But there's something about King Piccolo that's charming to me. Maybe it's how cute everything is in the cutscenes. Maybe it's the simplicity of the game, reminding me of some of my favorites like Streets of Rage 2. Maybe I'm just a sucker for Dragon Ball. But alongside Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure, Revenge of King Piccolo was one of those licensed anime games that gave me hope that people could make fun things that weren't 1v1 fighting games, even if that's pretty much all we get these days. It was a mash of a bunch of different genres of games into one, and while none of them were groundbreaking, none of them were bad either. So hey, good job on that. Not surprisingly, Mediavision would go back to JRPGs, where they've been making the Digimon and Valkyria Chronicles games, but at least we know their attempt at a licensed beat-em-up was decent. But they should really go back to Wild Arms. Please. So clearly there's a ton of licensed anime games, especially during the PlayStation 1 and 2 era. There's the survival horror inspired Vampire Hunter D on the PlayStation 1, which isn't very good. There's the Lupin the Third stealth action game. There's not one, but two Erika 7 PlayStation 2 games that made it over here, and like a trillion Gundam and Naruto games that time has left behind. And these are just ones that were localized.
Now, I'll get to a lot of, if not all of these one day, but for now, we need to talk about one more anime. I mentioned earlier that we weren't done with Rumiko Takahashi because we need to talk about Inuyasha.
I want to change the world. Oh, these feels,
bro.
bruh.
In a hotel room with 10 people singing this at like 3
I think
a.m. You probably
Inuyasha was like my first like serious
in the
anime.
2000s, Inuyasha felt like it was the premier anime. You couldn't go 2 steps at an anime convention without seeing one of the characters, some merch, or a big old sword. Pretty much every cosplayer I know had a pocket Kagome. It was the perfect blend of shonen and shoujo that ultimately was a massive hit worldwide, with an appeal that kept the manga going for 12 years, 193 episodes across 2 anime series, multiple movies, live action adaptations, stage plays, and more recently, a new spin-off. Even though for a majority of the series, Inuyasha relied on the Monster of the Week trope, it was still popular enough to get all of this, and of course, the pinnacle, video game adaptations. Now, surprisingly, the Western market actually got a majority of the releases. Like, obviously we didn't get the Patchy Slot or Wonder Swan Killer games, but with the exception of 2 more obscure titles, Inuyasha came out full force in the States. But of the 4 releases we got, I want to focus today on 1. Sure, the PlayStation 1 fighting game's a trip. It was one of the last things released on that console, and it's not even that great, but there's nothing quite like unleashing Kagome's Atare over and over to annoy whoever you're playing with. Also, Moroku needs to be in jail. Put this man away.
So this one's pretty upset,
Yes.
but the one I want to talk about the most today is probably the weirdest, Inuyasha Secret of the Cursed Mask.
Inuyasha Dating Simulator RPG. 3
I remember
words
playing
when strung
that.
together might be a curse. Now, Inuyasha has its canonical romantic pairings and everything.
I remember
The
that game
majority
being
of the time
horrible.
was spent doing a will they, won't they thing between Inu and Kagome. But thanks to this video game, now they gotta worry about a new romantic rival, Kururugi Austin. This man is mine, even if he likes to push me into wells. Just like Inuyasha itself, Secret of the Cursed Mask is an isekai. You can pick a male or female character, and then you mysteriously end
Absolute
up in this
Chad.
new world
He knows
where
to
you'll
play
meet
as the
entire
female.
cast of Inuyasha, and what happens from there is, well, a series of additional Monster of the Week episodes back to back. It's like a filler arc where another person from Kagome's time ended up in feudal Japan, and that's basically the entire story. Cursed Mask is a JRPG, but it's not a very good one. Part of that is due to the fact that if you want to do anything, it takes 400 years. And not like a quick time warp, but waiting in line at the DMV. After the beginning sequence, you have to walk around the starting town to figure out where to go, but the game doesn't tell you who or what to talk to, so you're just running back and forth, making sure to talk to every
Yasha
single
Naruto
person
running
like 3
behind you.
times and hope that the game just lets you go. Then when you get out, you're introduced to what might possibly be the slowest combat system in any video game I've ever played. Coming from
Yeah.
fast-paced RPGs like Persona 5, or even older ones like Final Fantasy 7 at this point, Secret of the Cursed Mask is brutal. A typical battle takes about 30 seconds to zone in, show the enemies, load everything. Then you'll spend weird, awkward seconds trying to target stuff while watching your arm hair grow out slowly as it switches between turns to finally win and be led out to the results screen, with a quote from one of your Inuyasha friends, of course.
What an easy victory.
Then you take like 4 steps and
Shut up, Shippo.
another random battle. Sometimes it legit takes like 6
God,
minutes
shut
to
up,
get from
Shippo.
one
No one
screen
cares
to
about you.
another, thanks to
Elino
all these
Lau.
battles and loading screens.
My mate
All I
asked
want is
me
to
to
date
buy her that
Inuyasha, but I
game
can't
Oh,
because
wow.
every time I crack my
And she
knee, a
blamed
battle
me for it being
begins.
bad.
Not that it would be very
Well,
hard to
was
trip
it your
anyways,
fault for it
considering
being
me and this
bad?
girl got the same model. Secret of the Cursed Mask is one of those JRPGs that was definitely intended for beginners. It's not very difficult. The combat system is basic enough to understand. The only things you really
Elino
have to
Lau.
work towards getting are the
Not
co-op
really, but
attacks
it-
that
but
you
give it to
unlock from
her.
hanging out with
My
one of your
sis had
friends
it for
after
some
your
our son.
Monster of the Week. I asked Inuyasha to smell out some herbs, and he couldn't do it. And then I was rewarded with this picture of him walking into a Smash tournament. Beautiful. As much as I like Inuyasha, with this fanfic tier writing, it's really hard to want to keep moving forward. With its very slow-paced gameplay, lackluster writing, and a generic soundtrack, it's definitely one of those anime games that time's kind of forgotten about. I can see modding this game to move literally 3 times faster, and
I guess
maybe
I don't know if
being a
time has
pretty
forgotten
enjoyable
about it, 'cause
time,
everyone
but
seems to
that
talk
sure
about
isn't
it.
what they did. Straight up, I lost the patience to go all the way with Inuyasha, so Kururugi Austin will have to wait another day, or never. Sorry, babe. Secret of the Cursed
Austin.
Mask was one of the last
He
games
actually
made by
got cucked.
Quartet, the people responsible for ActRaiser, Illusion
Ooh.
of Gaia, and Terranigma. How they couldn't make a fun JRPG with that catalog is beyond me, but at least it's
Yeah, no
inoffensive.
kidding.
I mean, it's just a licensed game. It's not like, Star Ocean 3. If there's one thing to take from today, just remember, in Japanese, Hakama means old-fashioned pants. This reminds me of something.
Well, if there is one thing...
Hakama means old-fashioned pants. This reminds me of something.
Well, if there is one thing that both Inuyasha and Zoids now have in common, it's that their video games both put me to sleep. So,
Kekakuduri.
well, that's all for today, but make sure to join me next time when I talk about my college thesis about Garfield.
Ah, the bunny hills of Glengifline. I never thought I'd hear these tunes again, but here I lay. Oh, sweet Glengow. Oh, precious fields of Moray. Ach, what's this boy doing? You're gonna go right to the pisser with this lass.
I haven't seen blasts like this since taco night at James Earl Jones' house.
Is that a Gex quote?
What are you staring at, you wee pushcat? We gonna have a fucking Pokemon fight or what?
Hey! Hurry up over there! The gas pedal's the one on the right, you dumbass!
Is it just me or am I engulfed in flame? He's the Pope Catholic, you cheeky tart.
Yay! Did you guys like my Scottish accent?
Hey kids, whenever I browse this site, I see more and more videos of people talking about things like YouTuber drama, the election, world politics, and it made me think, hey, maybe I should start covering more relevant, nuanced topics in my videos. Anyway, let's talk about chickens. So the story of the chicken begins a long time ago in Southeast Asia. Now, this area
Southeast
had a ton
Asia.
Of bamboo growing all over the place. And the
Yeah,
thing about
bamboo.
is it follows a very specific life cycle where
Yeah,
once every
life
50 years or
cycles.
so, every bamboo plant in a given region will blossom at the exact same time. Then
Yeah,
shortly
blossoming
after,
at the
they
exact
litter the
same
whole area
time.
with these little seeds known as bamboo rice, or as
Yeah,
I call them,
bamboo rice.
bambinos. These pellets get planted, the current bamboo dies out, and the cycle starts over. Now, enter the ancestor of the domesticated chicken, known as the red jungle fowl. The jungle
Yeah,
fowl
red
lived in
jungle
the same
fowl.
area as the bamboo, and as you can imagine, they got a lot of benefit out of being literally knee-deep in food once every half century. So much so that evolution basically said, alright, when food supplies go up, I want you to just start pumping out babies like there's no tomorrow. That way, we can take as much advantage of each bloom as possible. As a result, the chicken population became synchronized with the bamboo, shooting up during blooms and dwindling in between. Then humans showed up and they saw this pattern, and they said, wow, how bamboozling. And then they realized, wait a minute, that plan was dumb. But also, we can harness this whole chicken cycle thing. All we have to do is give these guys a whole bunch of food, and we can make their reproductive systems go into overdrive whenever we want. Do you know what that means? Lots of hot bird porn. No, it means we get as many eggs as we could ever dream of. So, with a bit of work, we managed to domesticate the chicken around 5000 BC. And as you can imagine, the idea of having a literal egg-laying machine around the house was extremely popular, leading to the chicken spreading across the entirety of the civilized world over the course of a few millennia. I think it's interesting that, despite the fact that the West has had chickens for most of its history, it wasn't until way later that we figured out where they came from. Like, alright man, it's time to delve into the world of the unknown. We're gonna see things the likes of which man has never laid eyes upon before. But, if you keep your wits about you, we just might make it out of here alive. Hey, is this yours? No? Weird. What the hell? Of course, having a constantly supercharged uterus is not without its drawbacks. After all, the chicken essentially goes through its entire menstrual cycle every day. So next time your girlfriend's complaining about how bad her period is, get her a box of chocolates and be generally attentive to her needs. You prick. Anyway, one thing with chickens and most other egg-laying critters is that they only have one hole in their pelvic region, which is called a cloaca, I think. Or cloaca. Cloaca? So the Croatia basically acts like a funnel, taking all the eggs and waste and sending it down the same chute. And while this might sound convenient at first, there is one fatal disadvantage that affects chickens in particular. Sometimes the egg can get stuck on its way out, leading to a condition known as egg binding. And since this means nothing can exit the clamato anymore, the egg-bound chicken ends up dying of constipation over the course of a couple days. Hey Jerry, how you doing? Not good, Sean. Not good. Oh man, what's wrong? It's just, ever since Jenny got egg-bound, things have been so stressful. Her funeral expenses are through the roof, and her memory means so much to me, but if the bills keep coming in like this, I'm not sure my family will be able to handle it. Well, hey man, you know what they say, don't put all your eggs in one casket.
Oh.
Let's just hope she doesn't get egg-zoomed.
Oh.
Don't ever contact me or my kids ever again. I understand. Anyway, that's all for today. Till next time, I'm Sam Manella, and thank you for watching.
Valaquenta. I am
Karaoke! Karaoke? Karaoke?
Strange, I thought I was already following you.
Hey, it's alright. Sing the Kyonko rap. We've already done the Kyonko rap.
Elino Lal. Kyonko rap yet.
I'll Kyonko rap you in hugs. How do you like that?
Viceris. You got your 3 mopers in Discord, now do the karaoke.
Yeah, I'm doing karaoke. Okay. I want to see if I can figure something out for karaoke, because, I almost got my avatar working. I love my mom. Man, this tune is dope. I love my mom too. Okay, so...
Viceris. How about Barbie Girl Kappa?
Barbie Girl Kappa? I'm trying to remember if Barbie Girl's on here. If it comes up, we can do it. Let me know how my mic sounds. So it should be okay, but... making noise with stuff here. Do. Excuse me. Someone else did this duet with me. Okay, so should I do Prince?
Elino Lau. How about you send us kisses?
How about I send you kisses? Mwah, mwah, mwah. Kissy, kissy, kissy. Okay, here's Prince Ali, because... should I do a duet or should I sing it solo? What do you guys want? Do you want me to do a solo or sing it as a duet?
Elino Lau. That was weirder than I thought it would be.
Oh, sorry. So what do you guys want? You want me to do a duet or a solo?
Valaquenta.
Do a duet. Okay.
Valaquenta.
This guy looks cool.
No. Your kisses aren't weird. Elino Lal. Duet with cute Kyo. Elino Lal. Your kisses are weird, but we like weird.
Your kisses are weird, but we like weird. That's good to know.
Elino Lau. Awesome silence.
It's Prince Ali. They cleared the way in the old bazaar. Hey, you! Let us through. It's a brand new star. Oh, come be the first time you want to meet his eyes. Make way, Here it comes, ring bells, bang the drums. Oh, you gotta love this guy.
Prince Ali, fabulous, he Ali above. Whoa. Genuflect, show some respect, down on one knee. Now try your best to stay calm, brush up your Sunday salam, then come and meet a spectacular coterie. Prince Ali, mighty is he, Ali above. Whoa. Strong as 10 regular men, definitely.
He faced goblin hordes, 100 backers with swords. Who send us goons of their lord by Prince Ali?
Don't they look lovely, June? Fabulous, Harry, I love the feathers.
When it comes to exotic type mammals, has Pete done a zoo? I'm telling you, it's a world-class menagerie.
Prince Ali, handsome is he, Ali above. Wah. That physique, how can I speak? Weak at the knee. Well, get on out in that square, adjust your veil and prepare to gawk and grovel and stare at Prince Ali. He's got 95 white Persian monkeys, and to view them he charges no fee.
He's got slaves, he's got servants and fungi. Fun to work with and bow to his whim. Love serving him, they're just lousy with loyalty to Ali.
Prince Ali, amorous he, Ali above. Wah. Heard your princess was a sight lovely to see. And that good people is why he gobbled up and dropped by with 60 elephants, llamas galore. Make way for Prince Ali.
Suck my balls.
Yum. I don't know what that was the best I could come up with. Suck my balls. Yum. Let's see how it sounded.
Be the first time you'd like to meet his eyes. Make way, here it comes, ring bells, bang the drums. Oh, you gotta love this guy.
Prince Ali, fabulous, he Ali above. Wah. Genuflect, show some respect. Why is my mic so crackly? Now try your best to stay calm. Brush up your Sunday salam. Then come and meet a spectacular coterie.
Prince Ali, mighty is he, Ali above. Wah.
Strong as 10 regular men, definitely.
He faced goblin hordes, 100 backers with swords. Who send us goons of their lord by Prince Ali?
He's got 75 golden cats. Don't they look lovely, June?
When it comes to exotic type mammals, has Pete done a zoo? I'm telling you, it's a world-class menagerie.
Prince Ali, handsome as he, Ali above. Wow. That's the thing, how can I speak? Let's see. Ali! Oh, okay, it does go a little too loud. Okay, should be alright there. It's voting time, it's voting time. Time to find a song to sing. Bum 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 bum. Someone was saying Barbie Girl is on here. The Alan Parsons Project. Bobby Goyle. I don't see no boy be Goyle.
Valaquenta. Sing Poker Face.
Okay. Let me add it here. Do they have poker face? The song that doesn't end. I don't think they have poker face. I'm sorry. Do 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 do. Scottish song, aye. Yeah, they know if I'm Scottish, do you? When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I haver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's havering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm working, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. And when the money comes in for the work I do, I'll pass along this penny along to you. When I come home, oh, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home to you. And if I grow old, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's growing old with you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. Da-la-da, da-la-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. When I'm lonely, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's lonely without you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream about the times when I'm with you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. And when I come home, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home with you. I'm gonna be the man who's coming home with you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walked 5,000 miles to fall down at your door. Da-la-da, da-la-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-la-da.
Why you sound so out of sync.
And I would walk 5,000 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. I sound out of sync today. Okay, let me check and see why. I should have restarted that. That's bullshit.
You say as he gets 3 ovations XD.
Ovations don't mean I'm good, it just means people liked it.
Elino Lal.
When I wake up,
he usually sounds
well,
better, I tell you.
I'm gonna be the man
Elino
who
Lal.
wakes up next to you.
Check his previous vids.
When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be be, I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I haver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's havering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm working, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. And when the money comes in for the work I do, I'll pass along the penny along to you. Yeah, I don't know why it's home, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home to you. There's this weird clicking I'm getting. It's really annoying me. I wonder if it's because I'm streaming with my other thing. So, let me see, is anyone even watching this on YouTube? I don't think so. Okay, just a second. So, if anybody's watching this on YouTube or anything else, I'm gonna shut this down and have it just on Twitch alone and see if that fixes it. So,